Solli Raphael shot to fame 4 years ago at age 12 when he was the youngest person ever to win the Australian Poetry Slam.
Humans are still willing to believe we can achieve much more than we can perceive to conceive. Some people can weave, some people can play a semi-breve, while others are wearing short sleeves on a sick leave. Monday artists, I believe.
Now, a year later, Solli published his first book and is now an in-demand speaker chatting to Fortune 500 companies about a future of inclusion and sustainability.
Yeah, what a guy. Now at 17, he's published his third book, 29 Things You Didn't Know About Me. It's part of the Our Story series, which explores the joys and challenges of navigating diverse backgrounds in the school playground. And Solli joins us now. Solli, such a pleasure to speak to you. I didn't get to talk to you, obviously, the first time, but it must feel terrible to have achieved barely anything by the age of 17.
Nothing. You've achieved nothing.
Yeah, thanks, Tristan. It's great to be joining you guys today.
It really is unbelievable stuff that you're doing. How are you feeling? Very successful boy. Good on you.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling really good. It's so wonderful to have a new book out.
Oh, tell us about it then, Solli. What's it all about?
Yeah, so my new book called 29 Things You Didn't Know About Me. This is a book about two new friends who met at the beginning of grade 2. And they didn't know much about each other, but when they had their very first sleepover together, they shared so many incredible stories and so many things about each other. And it's a very fun and positive story about exploring friendship at a young age. It's for 5 to 8-year-olds, so it explores the nerves, how daunting it is, but also how exciting it is to make friends when you're starting out in life. It also explores some deeper issues, things like multiculturalism, self-acceptance, identity. So it's a positive story with some powerful messages.
It really is fantastic. It's very reassuring to see young people like yourself taking such an interest and changing the world. I think, yeah, it really is great. We mentioned before there that you chat to big companies, these Fortune 500, about inclusion and sustainability. But you also run a group called Earth Enablers. What are some of the key things that you'd like to get across in these talks?
Absolutely. So Earth Enablers is an environmental conservation organisation. It's focused at really helping people of all ages and all backgrounds, all circumstances in life be able to help do their part to create a more sustainable future. When I go into working with a lot of Fortune 500 companies and in the corporate space, I like to talk a lot about how we can create a more sustainable future and how we can really use leadership to do that. Now, in my opinion, today's world has such a strong demand for leadership that having a job is no longer just about doing what's written out for you. I believe every job requires some form of leadership. And being a leader is not about, what role you have or what role you're given, but the role you choose to play. So whether I'm talking with billionaires or big CEOs or just school students and uni students, I try and work through ways that they can help be a good leader, be a more flexible, sustainable leader, and how they can use their own contribution and collaboration skills to make a difference.
The world's under a lot of pressure at the moment, Solli. What was your reaction to last week's report that revealed 19 ecosystems in Australia are on the verge of collapse? Pretty shocking.
It is. I read through the new State of the Environment report last week, and sadly, I can't say I'm surprised. I think a lot of people who work in the environmental space will have, to some level, been expecting these results, but of course it's devastating to see the current state of Australia. I think it's quite a downward spiral in a sense. I believe we've got all the data, all the technology, all the resources and skills to be able to turn this around, to create a greener and more sustainable future. But I feel like it's kind of off-putting in a way, the scale and the size of the job. But the longer we put it off, the bigger the job gets. So it's definitely a downward spiral, but hopefully we can do something to create a better future for Australia.
Very well said, yeah. Now, we saw some footage there before of your slam poetry. Have you any big plans for your next slam poetry that's coming up?
Of course, poetry will always be something I do. I'll always incorporate it into everything I do, including this new book. I really had to harness all of my expertise and experiences with poetry with this book. There are so many poetic devices used in this book. almost every page you turn, there's a new rhyme scheme. So it's a great story, but there's also plenty of poetry filled in the pages for a great, entertaining read.
Sounds right up my kids' alley. 29 Things You Didn't Know About Me is available for purchase at all good bookstores from tomorrow. Solly, great to catch up. Thanks for joining us.
Sarah, Tristan, it's always great to chat with you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you. Keep doing great things. Good on you.